the onions, peel the onions.
Welcome back, guys, and this is our little Excel series here, how to excel at Excel. And as you know, this is Peel the Onions with Sashlin, and on this channel we dominate data analytics and data science, guys. Yeah. And in this lesson we're going to look at index match. And also, please like and subscribe. Somewhere here or here. So index match. So high level, these are really useful if you want to look up values from a particular table. If you are familiar with Excel already, this will be very similar to VLOOKUP, but there's some key advantages when using index match. But let's get into it. We're going to skip over basic formulas because I just showed you what is a formula, and things such as sum and average are fairly self-explanatory. So we're going to just dive into index match. So what is index match and why are we going to use index match? The things that you would want to use this for is to look up any sort of table values. Before I actually show you how it works, we are going to show you what it's going to do, and it's always nice to see a visual example. So let's just say for 2019, we wanted to look at the costs for this YouTube channel, right? And we have this table where we have 2017, 2018, 2019. We have the revenue, the cost, and the profit. So we want this particular value. So this is what index match is going to do. We're going to have this formula at work where we're going to find from this particular table, we're going to go and find from column 1, 2, 3, 4, column 4, and the third row, so 1, 2, 3, and we're going to find this particular value. So this is all what index match is about, looking up this particular value from a particular table. Okay, one thing to know is that index match is a bunch of nested functions. Ooh, are we intimidated yet? No. So what that means, there's functions within a function. So like Inception, you know, dream within a dream. And so it's made up of two functions, so an index and a match function. So we're going to dive into what this match function is first. So let's just say we have this lookup array here. So we have A, B, C, and D, and we want to look up the value of C. We want to get the position of which the value C is at. And this is going to be key because this is going to be key for the looking up a value of from a table, because you need the position of the row and the position of the column. So how you use the match function. So if we look here, so let's just go and pop up the match function, right? Oops, that's not the match function. The function arguments for the match function is the lookup value, so the thing that you're actually looking for. Then it's the lookup array, which an array, just in short, is this. It's basically a collection of individual items. So an individual value is one particular item, and an array is just a collection of them. So you have the value that we're going to look up. So we know that we're looking up the value C, which is remember in our referencing, it's in C7. Our lookup array is this array over here. And a key thing to just remember is this match type. If it's 0, then means we're using an exact match. And if it's either 1 or -1, don't worry about that, because 99% of the time you're going to be using this exact match. If you want to actually find out more about the documentation of a function, you can actually click on this guy over here. Here, and it'll pop up this Excel help. So any function you're not sure how to use it, you can actually just click on it, or you can Google it, whichever floats your boat. And you'll see here that it actually gives a little video, and it's doing all and explaining everything, or what I'm explaining to you, and explains all the different values for the match types. And you can see that match finds the first value that is exactly equal to lookup value, whereas the other ones finds the largest and smallest and all those sorts of fancy things. But 99% of the time we just use an exact match. So we use a 0, and boom, we are in position 3. So it starts at 1, 2, and 3. So we have our match function all working, and now we're going to mention how to use the index function. So the index function takes an xy coordinate or a row number or a column number as shown here, and then looks up those coordinates in a particular table or array. This can either be a two-dimensional table here, or it can actually just be a one singular column or row. If you have those coordinates, it'll go and find that value. So let's just say we wanted to find the value r. The index function is a lot faster than VLOOKUP, and if your Excel becomes a fat cat, then it's going to be problematic and you're going to have freezing issues, as I mentioned before, which is not good, not good. So we have this table of, or you can call it an array, where we have A, B, C, D up till G, H to N. You have 3 columns and you have these many rows. So let's just say we wanted to find the letter R. Well, we know just by looking at it that it's the row number 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and it's going to be in column 3. So if we had the coordinates 4 and 3, then we would get this value. Oopsie. So we would then get the value of R. So you can see in the index function, as I mentioned, there's always function arguments, and you have an array. So you can see here an array. You have the row number and the column number. And whenever you have the square brackets, it is optional when using Excel. So the array here is our blue little table, which is A24 to C30, so it knows that particular range. And our row number is 4 and 3, and we're going to get the value of R. So let's just say we wanted U. We know that we're going to use the index function because it's used for lookups. Our table is going to be this guy over here. And then, so now our row number is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we go 7 and still in column 3, and we're going to get the letter U. So that's how simple it is to use an index function. Is just as long as you have those coordinates, you can actually just look up a particular value. Now, this is going to make a lot of sense because in our match function, we were able to get a particular position in a single array. And if you have the positions, these are providing your coordinates to use this index match function. So you don't actually have to use an index of 4 and an index of 3 or position 4 and position 3. We're going to show you how to do it in a much fancier way. So let's get into it. So we want to know the cost for 2019. And I've showed you an example. Let's take a deep dive. So the cost is the third row because including this table header, it's the third row. So from this empty cell, 1, 2, 3, this is the third row. Let's just say we wanted to find cost to make content, and what row is that? So the way to do that is in this little formula here with the match function. So if we just copy that from here and we just paste it, let's paste it, okay, now there. Let's say equals to, remember all your functions, formulas start with equals, and you just paste that guy over there. You can see what the blue is being highlighted. It's highlighting this particular array. We're going to try and find cost to make content and an exact match. If we do that, you're going to see it's column 3, which is what we expected. Similarly, we can do it for the column. So let's just copy that guy, and we are going to put an equals, and we're going to search for 2019 because we want to know the cost for 2019. Notice the difference in arrays. So the previous one, we were looking at what row name we were looking at, and now we're going to look at what column name we're looking at, and we want to look for the column name where it's 2019 and what position is that particular column at, and that's at position 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Very simple. Now we just need to combine these two, which is this guy over here. So now we know that it's 3 and 4, but now we're going to include the match functions. So how would we do this? So remember, we're going to have a nested function. So our array is going to be this entire guy over here. Then the row number is going to be this formula over here. So we're going to have the match of, so remember, we're going to find the lookup value cost to make content. Remember, because it's an exact match, you need to type it in correctly. Our lookup array is going to be that guy over there, and we're going to have an exact match and close off your function. So functions begin and with a parentheses and end with a parentheses to enclose all the arguments that are needed for a function. So similarly, we're going to do this for the columns, and the lookup value is 2019. Notice that this is text, and whenever it's text, it's surrounded by quotes. When it's not a text, so this is a number, then you don't need any of that. So now we're going to look up the 2019 in the column names with an exact match as well. And we're going to close that off. And what do you know? We have the same values. And this is just rounded off here to 44. We have 435. But if we just maybe make that bigger, you can see 435 is good. So that is how you use index match functions, but we can even take it a step further. We're going to use name ranges to actually name everything and make this a whole lot simpler. We're going to name this guy our what do we call it? Finance matrix. Let's just call it that for no particular reason. Then we're going to say, let's just give it row names. And we're going to say column names. Naming convention can differ, but I'm just showing that you can pretty much name it whatever you want. But it's good to have conventions when you're working with Excel so that you're consistent in all your analysis. Okay, so we've basically named the row names, we've named the column names, and we've got this matrix. So now we can actually use these name ranges which I've just given it. So if we just type in the index function, we type in finance matrix match function, our lookup value is going to still be cost to make content. Then it's going to be our lookup array is the row names. So you can see it pops up when you typing it in, and we're going to have an exact match. And we're going to do the same for our columns, and we're going to have a match. Our lookup value is 2019, and our lookup array is the column names. You can see it pops up again, and we are going to have an exact match of 0. And what do we know? We've just simplified our analysis by using name ranges. So now this index match function becomes a whole lot simpler. You can see we are looking at this finance matrix, and we're matching cost to make content from the array of row names, and we're trying to match 2019 from the column names, and we're trying to get those coordinates to eventually look up the value of what is the cost in 2019. So that is all for this video, guys, in terms of easy referencing. Hope this is really useful, and in the next lesson we're going to look at summarizing data, because that's where you're going to be able to tell stories with your data when you summarize your data. Cool. Check that one out, guys.